Okay, so now for today, we're going to extend our protocol to handle direct messaging, because in part 2, we already handled this log on, log off messages that are coming from the server when the user logs in and log off. And we handle this log in and log off. When a user logs in, we take the user and the password and then authenticate that connection. And then we broadcast that presence using the online or offline to everyone else that's connected to the server. Again, so for this part 3, we're going to look at how to send messages from one user to another user. Okay, so we have this loop that reads lines from the client, and then we are handling different commands such as log off, which is the equivalent to quit. We handle the login command here, and then now let's create another command called message. Okay, so the message looks like this, right? What we want to do is we want to say message as the command, and then from here we're going to say which user, and then followed by the text. Okay, so for example, I could say message, say Jim, and then hello world, right? That's going to be my line that gets sent to the server. And then from that, what's going to happen is Jim is going to receive a message from, say, guest, and then hello world. Right, so this one is the one that gets sent, and this is the one that's going to get received by Jim. Right, so let's do this. So guest will send out this message, and then Jim will receive this message. Right, so let's implement that in our code. Okay, so here this handle message is on the server side. Okay, so the first token we already know is going to be message, right? So the format is going to be message, and then login, and then message. Okay, so now we know where to send the message to, and then what is the text of that message. Actually, I should say body. Let's call this body. So the body of the message. Let's change all this to be body just to be clear. The message body. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to iterate through all the lists of server workers. And if the worker login matches the send to, then we'll send that message to that particular worker. Okay, we're going to construct our out message as, and then this message is going to be outbound to the recipient. So therefore, in our message command, we have to indicate who is the sender. And do some exception handling. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, so I'm logging as guest, and here I log in as Jim, and then Jim is going to send a message to guest. Okay, and then what happens is right now we're sending actually just the first token of that body message, right? So that's why you don't see this hello world, because once it tokenizes this line, right, this is another token that we didn't handle. Likewise, I can send a message to Jim from guest. Okay, so it seems to be working the way that we expected, except that we're not taking the full body message and sending it over. So that's what we're going to do next. So the reason why you only see part of the message is because of this, right? Because right now we actually have another string on the index 3, and the way that we're going to handle that is to split only 3 tokens. Okay, so you see the third argument here, we say max, that's how many tokens we're going to create. And so we want at most 3 tokens, because everything else past the third token should encapsulate every single string that's after the third token. Okay, let's see if I can pass null here, and then I want to say 3. So instead of passing in the tokens, we want to pass in our version of the tokens. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so that's good. So now we're able to send all the strings right after the first two tokens. Okay, so what we've done right now is we were able to just send messages from one user to another user by creating a format such as having the command message first, and then the target login that you want to send the message to, and then followed by the message body. And the way that we do that is to get the list of workers and then iterate through all the workers and see if their logins match our send to login. And then if it does, then we just formulate this message and then send that to the worker, which eventually will get delivered to the client.